the new human archetype that is coming online, because now we're not really going anywhere physically. We're actually being uploaded and upgraded in our physical bodies and who we are in this present moment. It's just that we are shifting consciously, so much that our perception is also shifting, which is leading to the awakening and the ascension as well.
Beloved heart, before we begin, I have a special gift for you. If you've been feeling the intensity of Earth's rising plasma light codes and want to stay centered in your body and heart and energy field, I've created a free light language quantum grounding activation just for you. This transmission will help you stabilize, integrate, and align with the new frequencies flowing onto the planet. Simply join my mailing list. See the link that's in the show notes to receive instant access. Let's ground into the light together.
This is the transfiguration of the new you. Hello, beloved. I'm Monica Bermudez. I am your host for the podcast Ascended Earth. And I have a important message that I want to talk about the date that is coming up. It's a very key, important date. It's a huge turning point for us, and that is February 20, 2026. And there's something extraordinary about February 2026. If you haven't heard yet, you're about to get a lot more information here in this episode. So I wanted to dedicate a whole episode on it because there's just so much to share on it. It's a very rare astrological event. Now, I want to begin grounded. I cannot say with certainty that this exact date mirrors a precise historical timestamp thousands of years ago. No astrologer, like even the top astrologers, can definitely pinpoint an identical moment in ancient prehistory. But what I can say with certainty is this. On February 2026, is the great conjunction between Saturn and Neptune and 0 degrees of Aries. And that matters because 0 degrees of Aries is not subtle. It is the first breath of the zodiac signs. It is an initiation. It is an ignition. It is a cosmic spark. When Saturn, the architect of structure and karma and governance, systems, meets with Neptune, the mystic, the dissolver of illusion, the dreamer of new realities, at the very first degree of the zodiac. We're not talking about a small shift here or a small transit. We're talking about the potential rewriting of collective destiny, of, a huge turning point in the collective itself and societal structures. So why is this conjunction so rare? Well, Saturn and Neptune meet approximately every 35 to 36 years or something like that, according to the astrologers, but they do not always meet at the 0 degrees in Aries in a very common way. It's a very astrological rare thing that occurs. So 0 degrees, Aries is the beginning of the entire astrological wheel, and it marks the reset point of the zodiac cycle. When a conjunction happens, there astrologers pay attention, and it has a lot of attention now from many astrologers. So, because symbolically it represents the collapse of outdated systems, which, is equivalent to like Saturn, when it comes to structures. It's the dissolution of illusion, which is, associated to Neptune, the planet of dreams, and the seeding of a new archetype for humanity, which is, in correspondence to Aries. So some ancient records, though not tie precise modern dating, describe eras where society underwent massive cultural shifts. So I've been trying, also to do some of my own research on this as well. So the movement from old structures into entirely new ways of like living. So this is like the birth of a whole new like civilization or the reorganization of power. And this is something that I shared, one of my episodes at the beginning of the month in like January of 2026 was a reorganization of like energy or how we, look at the energy and whole restructuring, I would say, renovation. And so that's really what this great conjunction is about, telling us also as well. But we cannot claim, exact dates with certainty. But historically, though, major outer planet alignments have corresponded with sweeping societal transformation. And this one feels very foundational. So, a new direction of society. What I receive intuitively, and I say this clearly as an intuitive, insight, is that this conjunction is written into the stars as a turning point. This is not just, politically or not just economically, but structurally and spiritually. And, so it's many areas of like our lives and many structures and many ways of looking at new systems. So Saturn rules societal frameworks. It's, about the governments, about the financial system, is the institutions, is the authority, just to name a few. I'm sure there's like a longer list of things. Neptune, though, dissolves what is false and it exposes illusion. It melts the rigid boundaries of separation. So when they meet at 0 degrees at in Aries, we're looking at the dismantling of outdated societal constructs and the initiation of something entirely new. This is not like a surface level type change. This is not like root level restructuring. I mean, this is like a destiny level type of architecture. So we could literally say this is like written in the stars for our destiny in a good way. So with that, comes this frequency shift. Now let's talk about the energetic piece of this. So there has been a lot of conversation around the planet's vibrational shifts and spikes and measurements such as the Schumann resonance, which is also known as the heartbeat of Earth. And I myself have been tracking it almost every day, looking at the chart and seeing that there have been some intense, white spikes of energy in the chart itself, like white color spikes. While, interpretations vary, many people report, feeling heightened like intensity emotionally, psychologically, and energetically. What I see happening is this: as consciousness expands, awareness expands. When awareness expands, shadow surfaces or comes to the surface. And this is why this period feels like a true serum. And true serum is a word that I've been using in the previous episodes, the beginning of the year, where I was talking about the true serum frequency. This is, bringing up the good, the bad, and the ugly, the uncomfortable, the shadow, and it's really coming to light, coming to the surface. And yeah, it can be yucky at times, and it's just too much for us to, take on. And it's not to punish, but it's really to purge. And sometimes, it can feel like it is a punishment. But, if we look at it from a different perspective of like how, this is actually clearing up a lot of stuff that's coming up. Saturn is also known as a planet of karma. So it is like a cleansing or a detox, I would say, of karma. And, karma that is really about a balancing, right? Because not all karma is bad, but is really about the balancing and the restoration. So it is almost like a justice of restoration itself. So the year of the snake that we are, completing soon, because now February 17th is when the year of the horse kicks in, like literally, right? Taking on the reins of the fire horse. The year of the snake is, associated to shedding. The recent year symbolically represents, the shedding of the skin, which is a transformation, a molting, rebirth. But there's more actually to the snake if we look at it from a different perspective, right? Because the snake actually is about sound, it's about the vibration, And that is how it moves on the ground. It's also about being on the ground and moving on the earth itself. But that is how the snake moves or is able to move around, is also by sensing the ground, sensing the vibration, sensing the frequency, and knowing where to go and which direction to go. But if you see, a lot of the cobras, they resonate with sound. And so where the shedding comes in, right, for us, though, if we learn from the year of the snake, it's really about taking away the lessons learned from the spirit of the animals, right? The snake itself, that our level of sensitivity is also increasing, where we're becoming more sensitive to the vibrations of the earth, which is really the human resonance, right? The frequency that is really shifting, and also with sound, right? 'Cause sound music for me is like medicine. And so this is something that, where the future is really moving towards, is more of using sound as healing. So just because the year of the snake ends doesn't mean that no shedding is going to occur. Of course, we all go through different levels of different shedding and ego deaths in our lives, when there is certain turning points and certain catalyst moments, that happen in our life that could trigger that moment of like a huge breakthrough. And some of these could be through loss. And loss can come in, all different ways, but they all have like a trigger point of learning, new things. Beloved, if you're craving deeper connection, intuitive expansion, and consistent energetic support, join me inside the Frequency Resonance Lounge. This is a monthly Master Heart Circle, moon ceremonies that includes the full and new moon, and a private community for connections. Link is in the show notes. And being that turning point. So that's really the takeaway of the year of the snake as we come to a conclusion on it. So in this conjunction in February, it feels like the ignition point after the shedding, right? So it's very significant that February 20, a few days after when the new year hits, the year of the horse, the collapse and rebuild can happen simultaneously. And that's how I believe that it's possible to do that. So you might be overflowing with ideas right now, downloading creative solutions, seeing innovative pathways, feeling called to build something radically new. And I am actually personally feeling that myself. But I know that I'm not the only one who's feeling this, so which is why I'm sharing this with you, because I know there's so many who resonate with this as well. So at the same time, you may feel like like who you thought you were is dissolving or like just disappearing before your eyes. Like these old identities collapsing, these old belief systems, all of a sudden being questioned, old narratives crumbling, old loyalties breaking, relationships that don't resonate, but also paying attention to new relationships coming into your life. And now you become wiser, and noticing red flags. But old systems revealing their cracks as well. Especially systems built on illusion in the finance, in the healthcare, in the politics, in the authority, and more things, like even in the education system itself. So when Neptune touches Saturn, illusion inside structure cannot hold. Many of us, and talking about the collapse, of the identity, which is another way of looking at it from an ego death, many of us were shaped by systems that rewarded compliance over authenticity, structures that separated us from our intuition, our sovereignty, our inner authority, our creativity, our direct connection to wisdom. The frequency does not tolerate false alignment anymore. This new frequency that we are really in right now for 2026, especially, and is going to continue to even increase even more. And it will just be harder to hide and lie with these true serum frequency. And so it may feel like I can't do this anymore. My nervous system is overloaded. I see too much now. I cannot pretend anymore. And this is not weakness. This is the awakening. that is happening right now. So the nervous system is saying, I can't anymore, is often the soul saying, we were never meant to. We were never meant to, be in this state of suffering, pretty much. So the new human archetype, not talking about human design, but talking about the new human archetype that is coming online. Um, because now we're not really going anywhere physically. We're actually being uploaded and upgraded in our physical bodies and who we are in this present moment. It's just that we are shifting consciously, so much that our perception is also shifting, which is leading to the awakening and the ascension as well. So, what is being initiated at 0 degrees Aries is the archetype of the new human, not the enslaved human, not the obedient human, not the fragmented human, but the sovereign human, the one that really recognizes and is aware and knows of their own power, of your own power, of your creativity. And that is a huge power force of energy. Saturn will still demand responsibility. Neptune will still demand, spiritual integrity. But together they form this disciplined mysticism, these spiritual structures, these practical divinity, this embodied imagination. And this is the era of visionary architects. So the quantum pole of the shadow. What frequency rises, when frequency rises, the density reveals itself or comes to the surface. And this is really physics. We're talking about getting into the quantum physics now. As awareness expands, suppressed emotion, buried trauma, collective shadow rises for the clearing, for the purging. And it can feel like emotional nausea or emotional wanting to throw up, exhaustion or overwhelm, anger coming to the surface or surfacing, grief emerging from nowhere, and you're not regressing when this happens. You're actually purging this. And the key is not to identify with what is surfacing right now. It is to witness and to release without judgment, but really holding space for yourself in this way. So I want to share, some things that would help that I've been also implementing myself because I'm going through this as well. A lot of us are going through many of the different challenges. So how to navigate all of this, right? The turning point and all that. So I want to offer a grounded guidance. Number one, and I'm going to share 5 of them. Number one, be clear about your boundaries. This is very, very much emphasized right now, and even as a reminder for myself too, right? Your attention is energy. Your energy is currency. Where your attention goes, your life force flows. So ask yourself, what am I feeding? And what am I amplifying? What narratives am I reinforcing? And boundaries are not walls, they are really sacred filters, especially in times of collective revelation. So, number two, take time out if needed. And you do not need to process the entire collective awakening in 1 week. So, if your system says pause, then pause. Silence is recalibration. You're not falling behind, you're integrating. And if you need to go scream somewhere, probably nature. So, number three is, talking about that releasing in a safely way. If you need to vent, then go ahead and vent. Go into nature, go vent to a tree. Speak aloud. You can talk to the trees also. Call a trusted friend. Do not suppress what is surfacing, but do not project it onto the world either or onto anybody else as well. So if you're really feeling triggered by something, pay attention to where it's coming from yourself because energy is really your energy. It's not that anybody else is adding anything in it, although it does feel like it could be, but it's really about looking within yourself and asking yourself, where are those unhealed wounds? Because when something is Triggers another word that I use for activation. And that activation could be, an aspect of us that is a talent that is coming online, but we have to get through whatever unhealed wound it's in the way. So this, getting through that unhealed wound leads into that breakthrough of your authenticity, because it may not even be what you think it is that is hurting, in that moment. It is something that is underlying that is coming through online. So be mindful of that as well, and also heartful. So move it, express it, and then let it pass. Number 4, it is okay to feel. There is no spiritual bypass available at 0 degrees in Aries. Raw honesty is medicine. If anger is there, acknowledge it. If grief is there, honor it. If fear is there, witness it. Feeling does not mean that you are failing, it means that you are clearing something. And the last thing, number 5, let it go. The final step is release. So do not build a new identity around your breakdown. Do not cling to your collapse. You're not meant to live in the mud. You're meant to compose it. So collapse and rebuild can occur simultaneously. The old dissolves, the new seed, and the new seeds, itself. Um, so, from a larger perspective, this conjunction is not about chaos. It's about the recalibration and a reset in a big way. It's about humanity moving from this illusion-based structures to consciousness-based structures that serves the people. It will not happen, overnight, but Saturn ensures it unfolds over the years. Neptune ensures it unfolds subtly but profoundly. But February 2026 marks the ignition of this, the spark, a cosmic green light, a turning of the wheel. So you're not here by accident. If you feel the swirl of this collapse and creativity at the same time, you're aligned with the shift. Trust your ideas, trust your discomfort, trust your clarity. We are moving into uncharted territory, but the vastness of your soul is infinite, is wise, and is resourceful. And the solutions we need are not outside of us, they are inside of us. In this conjunction at 0 degrees, it's a reminder the new world begins with a single spark of courage, and that spark lives in you. So pay attention to what is being distracted in your life, because really where the attention should be is inside right now, in that reconnection with self, in your own divinity, which is the most powerful aspect of you. And the more of us who do this, the more of us who come online, the more that we build on the unity consciousness itself and the communities that come together. So it's sending you all the love as well, and happy reconnection within yourself. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to click like, save, and share with others so they can also experience what you just experienced. And stay tuned for some more high vibe episodes. And I'll be connecting with you in the next quantum field, sending you so much love.